Amy Lyon was born on April 26 in 1765 in Ness, Cheshire, England, to Henry Lyon, a blacksmith, and his wife Mary, a former maid. Born into poverty as a teenager, Emma worked as a maid and nursemaid in various households. She moved to London in her late teens, where she worked as a model and dancer. Her career as an actress and dancer was short-lived. Her beauty and innocence brought men into her life that would use her and then discard her to the next suitor. She was eventually marked as a demi-monde due to her background and living circumstances. In 1782, she became the mistress for 4 years of Charles Francis Greville, who was an antiquarian, collector, politician, and son of an earl that sat in the House of Commons from 1774 to 1790. Greville gave her the name Mrs. Emma Hart and helped to further her education. This arrangement occurred when she begged for his help after becoming pregnant with Sir Harry Featherstone Hawes' child in 1782, and he rejected her. Greville took her in on the condition that the child would be fostered out. While in this arrangement, Emma was afforded a home in Paddington. She was also introduced to the artist George Romney. Romney was fascinated by Emma and created a series of portraits featuring her as his muse. These portraits helped define her as a symbol of beauty and grace in 18th century art that epitomized the concept of a pocket Venus. Romney painted at least 45 fantasy pictures of Emma. In total, Emma was painted over 60 times by renowned artists that she posed for. In 1786, Emma was sent to Naples with her mother to visit Greville's uncle, the British ambassador, Sir William Hamilton. It was understood that Greville wished to marry a wealthy woman and cast Emma off to his widowed uncle to serve as his new mistress. Heartbroken, Emma wrote to Greville letters of distress and grief, but at some point Sir William Hamilton managed to woo her, and they were married in 1791. Charles Greville was never married and kept paintings of Emma on his walls until the day he passed away on April 23 in 1809. This marriage to Sir William gave her the title of Lady Hamilton and earned her a place at the Neapolitan court. Emma became a close friend of the Queen of Naples and Sicily, Maria Carolina. This friendship gave her a significant political influence during the Napoleonic Wars. Emma thrived in the Neapolitan Society of Naples by becoming an accomplished singer. Sir William helped her to develop poses based on scenes from classical vases, which became part of her solo performances called Attitudes. Attitudes was a blend of theatre and tableau vivant, where she used shawls and props to transform into classical and mythological figures. These performances were considered living art. Lady Hamilton's beauty, charm, social grace, and artistic abilities propelled her to celebrity status by the mid-1790s. Lady Hamilton met Admiral Horatio Nelson in 1793 when he was captain of HMS Agamemnon. Nelson was sent by Lord Hood to persuade the King of Naples to supply troops that could hold the French port of Toulon, which had been surrendered to the British by French monarchs. The meeting made such a strong impression on Nelson that he wrote to his wife about Emma's attributes. She is a young woman of amiable manners and who does honour to the station to which she has been raised. Emma and Nelson kept correspondence during the Nile campaign in 1798. Emma's influence with the Queen of Naples prompted him to write to her of his progress and ask for needed supplies to chase a French fleet. While the British Nile campaign aimed to thwart Napoleon's Egyptian landing, Emma became a significant political figure, mediating between the British government and the Neapolitan royal family, supporting British sailors, and using persuasive letters and diplomatic intelligence to aid the effort. Emma acted as an intercessor in persuading Maria Carolina to have the King of Naples provide Nelson's fleet with the needed document to gain entry from the governor of Syracuse in Sicily to resupply his fleet. Once they were victorious in the battle, Nelson returned to Naples ill and exhausted. He was taken in by Sir William and Emma at the Palazzo Sessa. As a result of this time together, Emma and Nelson had developed a close friendship. In December 1798, This bond was strengthened even more when they worked together to secretly help the King and Queen of Naples evacuate to Palermo when Naples fell to the French army. Admiral Horatio was enamored with Emma's ability to calm the fleeing royals during their escape. She showed bravery and poise during the crisis. After this, they were inseparable. By 1799, they had become lovers, even though both of them were married. Sir William Hamilton was with them in Palermo, and it is unknown as to whether Sir Hamilton turned a blind eye to the affair or was simply unaware of it. In 1800, the three returned to Naples with Emma now pregnant with Nelson's child. At some point, Nelson made the choice to stay with Emma over his wife, and in 1801, Nelson returned to active service and Emma gave birth to their daughter named Horatio Nelson the same year. To avoid scandal, Horatio was raised as Emma's adopted child, and the lovers kept correspondence through passionate letters while Nelson was away. Emma bought a house, the Merton in Surrey, for herself, Nelson, and Sir William's, and they often lived there together. This arrangement of Admiral Nelson and Emma was scandalous for the time and was publicly mocked by a caricaturist called James Gilray and others. In April 1803, Sir William passed away, and soon after Nelson returned to sea. August and September 1805 marked Emma and Nelson's last meetings. They openly had Horatio at Merton among Nelson's friends and family. On the eve of his redeployment, they attended a parish church for a private communion, where they also exchanged rings in a conscious reenactment of a marriage. Nelson amended his will to include that his king and country provide for Emma and Horatio. The HMS Victory sailed into the Battle of Trafalgar. On October 21, 1805, Admiral Horatio Nelson was shot by French sniper and passed away at the age of 47. He lived long enough to hear that the British had won the battle. His passing overshadowed the victory of the British Trafalgar as all of Britain went into mourning. Some of his final words were said to be, "Don't throw me overboard, Hardy. You know what to do. Take care of my dear Lady Hamilton. Hardy, take care of poor Lady Hamilton." At this, the Captain Hardy knelt down and kissed his cheek. "Now I am satisfied. Thank God I have done my duty." Due to recent discoveries, it is debated that those were his final words, and "Kiss me hardly" may have been, "Thanks be to God, I have but lived this day, and now I die content." Emma was devastated by the news of Nelson's passing and was abandoned by much of his family and friends once he was gone. No one honoured his final wishes to provide for her and their child. Emma became addicted to alcohol and struggled financially. Due to her lavish spending, she was forced to sell many possessions, including the Merton home that Nelson left her. Even with the sale of precious possessions, her debt accumulated to the point where she was imprisoned in a debtor's prison in 1813 along with Horatio. In 1814, letters of Nelson's to her were published, which caused an open discussion in the public about their true relationship. She was blamed for much of the affair, but always denied involvement. In July 1814, to escape her creditors, she moved to Calais, France, where she lived in poverty. 6 months later, she passed away on January 15, 1815, at the age of 49. She was buried in an unmarked grave. Despite their difficult experiences together, Emma never acknowledged Horatio as her biological daughter, nor did Horatio fully accept Emma as her mother. The life of Emma Hamilton, Amy Lyon, later Lady Hamilton, is a tale of reinvention, fame, love, and tragedy. Emma was born into poverty and managed to reinvent herself multiple times. Her ability to adapt and elevate her status shows the power of self-transformation and resilience. Her ability to use wit, beauty, and artistic talents highlight how social intelligence and charisma can open doors. Her life also reflects the role of women in an 18th century society. Emma's life illustrates both the opportunities and limitations women faced. She achieved status through her associations with powerful men, yet despite her influence in diplomatic and political circles, she had no independent power. This serves as a reminder of the historical struggles women faced in gaining agency. Her legendary love affair with Admiral Horatio Nelson brought her fame, but also contributed to her downfall. After his death, she was left without financial security, abandoned by those who once admired her. This underscores the risks of relying too heavily on others for stability. As the wife of Sir William Hamilton, the British envoy to Naples, Emma played a key role in diplomatic affairs, particularly in aiding the British fleet. Her influence on politics, art, and culture shows how individuals outside traditional power structures can still shape history. Today, Emma remains a cultural icon symbolizing beauty, ambition, and the complexities of social mobility in the 18th century. Her life has been portrayed in numerous books, plays, and films. Painters like George Romney and Joshua Reynolds idealized her in their portraits, capturing her as a muse of beauty and grace. She was also adored by powerful men, including Admiral Horatio Nelson, further elevating her as an icon of feminine allure. Her transformation from a humble background to an aristocratic socialite and muse solidified her as a legendary pocket Venus, proving that charm, beauty, and intelligence could make a lasting impact on history.